Boom, we are live, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It is, of course, your boy Nolan Hawkeye Anthony here, and I hope you guys are having a fantastic day and or week, wherever you may be, and however you may be listening. Recently, actually within the last day or so, the Iowa media have struck again or stricken again with yet another political story. And, overall, and the story that I'm talking about is the dissolving of an alumni based diversity advisory committee. And this was initially put into place as kind of a way for the Iowa coaches to receive feedback on certain, I don't know, cultural facts and ways of looking at the world and things of that nature to help them better understand. I guess. I mean, I don't even know necessarily what that means. And I kind of want to stay away from talking about the dissolving of or not dissolving, because apparently that is not happening. So there's been an article from the Gazette saying that it is happening, and there's been an article from Hawkeye Insider saying that it is not happening. And I want to stay away from that, and I want to talk more about the Iowa media and Iowa's football culture. Okay. And before I do that, I want to mention hitting that subscribe button because, as I always say, subscribing makes you feel good. And at the very least, like, comment, share. You know the drill. Go to 247hawkeye.com. I'll put the PayPal link in the description. Follow me on Twitter at 247Hawkeye. I remember when this whole thing went down about a year and a half ago, and I was fully entrenched in starting my website, which I have taken a back seat from a little bit and pushed the YouTube channel more, because I believe that that is the future of pretty much everything media is videos, content, not written content, but actual entertaining contextual videos. And I remember by the way, if you don't know, I just need to tell you guys this, okay? If you don't know, when I first started doing this, and I have alluded to this many times, okay? When I first started doing this, one of the very first people I got in touch with was Cavante Martin Manley, the leading receptions, the all-time leading receptions guy for the University of Iowa. And me and him had many, many, many personal conversations, one-on-one conversations on the phone. I never saw him in person. He went on my Facebook show, and I wish I would not have done the Facebook stuff. I wish I would have started YouTube way sooner back then, but that is neither here nor there, because if I had started YouTube back then, the channel would be well above 1,000 subs by now. But that's neither here nor there. The point is that I had very, very personal conversations with him. Okay. Now, I don't want to pretend like we were friends or that I saw him in person and that I knew him really well. But the whole extent of it is he would come on my show, my pregame show, and it was pretty popular. A lot of people watched it. And we started to do a weekly podcast, which did okay as well. In exchange, I helped him with his clothing line, But the reality is he just was not willing to take some of the necessary steps to make his clothing line a success. And again, neither here nor there. The point is that I did know Cavante Martin Manley, at least on a business level, on a phone conversational level, and I would say a personal level. Never. And so this leads me to this. Not once did he ever talk to me about any issues such as what we're looking at here with the Iowa Hawkeyes. If anything, the only thing that he ever mentioned was some of the things he saw with other programs, not the Iowa Hawkeyes. Now, did I necessarily ask? Did I necessarily, dive deep? Probably not, but nonetheless, it was there, and I tried to get some inside scoop stuff. So that's the first thing. The second thing I want to bring up is the media. Okay. Well, actually, you know what? Let's stay on this. Okay. Let's stay on this. The second thing I want to say as a former Division I athlete myself is that you don't have the amount of wins that the Iowa, and I'm going to pull that up here. Let me see. Winningest college football programs since 2015. You do not win as many games as the Hawkeyes have won in the past since 2015, unless you have a good football culture that builds up young boys into men, makes them become leaders of the community that they are in. I mean, look at how many amazing things from all backgrounds that the former Iowa players have gone on to do, whether it is in the NFL, whatever it is. Look at what they go on to do. I use this as an example with Tyler Linderbaum. Excuse me. The dude raised $30,000 that he could have pocketed himself. Well, I don't know if he could have pocketed it, but he raised 30 grand and gave it to the UI Children's Hospital. And that is not to point out Tyler Linderbaum. The point is to show how many awesome things the Iowa players do as a fulfillment of the culture that is fostered from the Iowa Hawkeye coaching staff. And, I think that is, as I said, as a former Division I athlete myself, I think that is the best example you could have. The two best examples of a culture and the healthiness of that culture is, one, the production. How much do they win? How well do they do on the field? And not only do the Hawkeyes do well on the field, but they, since 2015, have dominated as far as the Big Ten West goes in recruiting, in putting guys into the NFL. They have done excellent. Let's see here. Let's go since 2015. Let's do that. Look at this. Iowa is, let's see. Let's count it down. First, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th. Iowa, since 2015, is the 13th winningest program in the country. Okay. So those are the main points. Your culture is not, the bottom line is, if you have a bad culture, you just won't win like this. I've been a part of excellent cultures that still lose because it is just so hard to win at that level. And the thing that ultimately separates these programs usually is discipline, how good your culture is, the work ethic of the players, things like that. Okay. again, evidence of a good culture. The next thing that I want to say is I don't really think necessarily that this is, well, I'm not going to say that. Since I've been a Hawkeye fan, I have started to notice this trend, and I've noticed it with the media in general. When the football season is going on, the Iowa media they are darlings of Kirk Ferentz, of the football program. They are, they're tight. They are tight. But as soon as the season is done, and there's much less content, and there's much less on the field stuff to write about, you can almost guarantee a political story, at least one or two a year. I still maintain, because I always see these Hawkeye fans blaming the other coaches for negatively recruiting the Iowa Hawkeyes. And in my opinion, the people that you should be more upset with is the media, because the other coaches not on the Iowa staff, they're just doing their job. They're just doing their job. And you could say, well, the Iowa media is doing the same. I would disagree, because there's plenty of other stuff to talk about, to write about, and things of that nature. You can always guarantee two things from the Iowa media: finger wagging for the fan base, and to some political story. And we always give them what they want, which is eyeballs on their story. So listen, guys, I don't necessarily, personally, the goal of having a football team is, or having a sports team, is two things. Okay. One, on the field performance, AKA winning games, and two, creating strong people, good people. And I think the Iowa Hawkeye football program does both of those in droves. And, as far as this goes, I mean, I don't even really have much to say about it. I think that this is an internal thing. And it is totally up to the coaching staff what they do. But because of the world we live in right now, a guy like Kirk Ferentz right here, he will continue to receive, despite all the beautiful stories of guys on his football team doing beautiful things, despite winning 10 games in a season. You will always hear stories of negative things, negative portrayals. And I just advise you to take it with a grain of salt. And because some of you are all trusting to the media, and I understand how that is easy to do. But at the end of the day, guys, if you still think that the media is, Walter Cronkite, even though he was a very biased individual himself, and, they're a bunch of people on the beat getting the true story at whatever cost. If you think that that is what the media is now, man, I mean, I don't even know what to tell you. I really don't, because in my eyes, as a 27-year-old man, it just is so obviously not the case. I did like this thing that my guy Jared shared from Alex Padilla. This is what Alex Padilla said: change is never an easy thing to bring about. It requires difficult and open conversations to learn and grow from one another. Being able to listen and try to understand others' experiences is a great starting point to implement changes in any setting. In the sport of football, there is 100+ individuals that come from all different backgrounds and walks of life. We all come together to become brothers and work to achieve a common goal. Unity is essential to success in a team setting. I could not agree with that more, especially the second half of his thing. Okay. If you want a true unity building thing that helps see past differences that exist, there is nothing that will ever be better than a sport like football that brings together guys from all different backgrounds. A beautiful, beautiful thing, who get together for a common goal and become brothers by the end of it. In my opinion, it is one of the most beautiful things and one of the only beautiful things that exist in our culture today. So that is my thoughts on it. You know, I'm not going to get into what I think of dissolving or not dissolving. I'm not going to get into that. Ultimately, like I said, I think that is Kirk Ferentz's decision and the coaching staff's decision on what they think is best. And as I said, the Iowa media, they are not Iowa fans like you and me. So if they have to choose between putting out a juicy story that is not 100% true and putting out a lesser story that is in support of the Iowa program, they will always, always, always choose the juicy story because they don't love Iowa sports like you and I do. And I realized that probably 4 or 5 years ago. So, all right, guys, thank you guys so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed this little episode. I don't want to do too many of these. I want to keep it sports related. But I did kind of think it was necessary to give a balanced take on this. I think everything I said is pretty rational, pretty mainstream, I guess. Well, I don't know about that, but but in my opinion, it's pretty rational. And I just try and give you guys good content, good stuff. And that is pretty much it. All right, guys, be sure to hit that subscribe button because subscribing makes you feel good. And at the very least, like, comment, share. You know the drill. Go to 247hawkeye.com. Follow me on Twitter at 247hawkeye. And last but not least, DBAP. Don't be a pussy willow. In fact, our feelings don't matter. Love y'all. Go Hawks. Bye.